What's up, guys? It's Ricky Analog here, about to do a trade recap real quick, but as always, make sure you understand that this is just for informational purposes only. It's not a solicitation to trade. Make sure you familiarize yourselves with the disclaimer, which will be in the description of the YouTube video, guys. So let's get into it. This is a loss. We're going to talk about a loss. It's okay because it was a controlled loss, and I think there's some lessons to be learned here. So I was playing VTVT today. We were trying to play it for the squeeze over 4. It was holding some levels very, very well. And I think, sometimes shorts get a little lucky. And in this case, this is one of those cases where I think they caught a break. It's not like I'm not familiar with the overall crappy situation with this company and their filings and the whole 9 yards. But we were only up, I think, like 20 or 30% today. And I mean, if you look at the daily chart, it had retraced. It was pushing. Like, if we broke 450s, all hell was going to break loose on this thing. And I definitely wanted to be a part of it if we were able to break back over 4. And so I started taking positions. But one of the key things to take away from this is where to place your stops, guys. I always say this: know the opposite triggers for the other bias. So in this case, we were a long bias. We were trying to play this as a late day squeeze. So you have to know where the short bias triggers are. And for us, the trigger was under 61. And that was why I put my trigger at my stop limit at 59. And you'll know if you do it correctly, because typically when you stop out, you'll be extremely happy you did stop out where you did, because like I said, this was the trigger for the opposite bias. So if this was going to fade, this is where it was going to do it from. And you'll see the volume that came in on the trigger, also kind of validating the fact that you had the right spot. And price never got back up there. And honestly, I think if you were short VTVT throughout all this consolidation period, you should be counting your blessings, because I know when we broke over 94, a lot of you guys were probably getting quite a bit nervous there. Let's talk about one more real quick, because I actually had another loss that's has the exact same lesson to be learned on it, and that was CGC. It's one of the pot plays, and we had a big down day, but then we found support, and it was holding 49 really well. And so we started, I started getting some. I got 49, 42. Basically, we was looking for a push back up on 50 and seeing if we could get through 50 as well. And I wanted to be adding in as close to 49 as possible, and I was going to kick it through 49. And as you'll see, when the stop loss was triggered under 89, I put it at or under 90. I'm sorry. I always give it about 11 cents under the whole number, just in case it's just trying to trigger a few stops and then turn right back around. So triggered at 89, and look, washed. And that's exactly, and on volume too, like once that volume comes in, you got you have all the people that are long, they're bailing, you got a bunch of longs jumping in, and that's why you get the push down. But I want you guys to see the correct way to place your stops, and also the correct way to think about sizing your position. So if you know where your stop's at, and you better know where your stop is before you ever take a position. Because if I had just gone full size up here at 42, I have no room to add, and my stop, is going to give me a full R loss, which, this wasn't the best setup. It could have worked, whatever. It was definitely, it had triggered. When I felt the trigger was when it broke over 49.50s. So once it triggered and was valid, I wanted to get a piece of it. We were holding the 5-minute 20. There's a whole lot of reasons why I wanted this, but at the same time, I did want better prices. So this was just a starter here at 42. And then I was able to take more size here. I think I added 49.11. And that way, the majority of my size, we're talking about a 20-cent stop loss. And even then, it's still not a full R loss, which is what is able to make you have longevity, stay in the game, as well as, like, even with this and the VTVT loss, still green on the day because of the other plays that worked out. And same thing with this, started in here after it was valid, after it triggered, and added on a pullback right into the 5-minute 20. And I knew my stop was going to be under 60, so I did want some in the 60s if we got it, and then decided to bounce. So took it there, I added at 68, and then I just had to respect the stop, and it was a good thing I did. So just want to make sure that, one, you guys don't think that I'm only posting my wins. I have no shame at all. My losses are always small and controlled, and the reason because I know where to place stops and I know how to size my positions. If you guys don't understand these concepts, head over to stocktraders.net. Me or any of the other moderators there can definitely help work with you guys on these concepts. These are what we consider very, very fundamental concepts, the basics, guys, and you have to have these basics down, or you can't even think about how to do these more advanced trading techniques, guys. So head on over to stocktraders.net. It's absolutely free. Shoot me a DM. Let's get you guys started. Peace.